Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. This is our last show of the week, Tony. How are you going to spend your 4-day weekend?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, golfing, napping, catastrophizing. You like that word, catastrophizing?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't know what you have in your life to catastrophize over. I mean, you got it pretty good.
Everything. Everything.
Got it pretty cushy.
I have enough anxiety for everybody in my house and another few houses. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Daryl Morey is done. Golf's next major is upon us, and Charles Barkley joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with Victor Wembanyama getting back on the court after his flagrant 2 in Game 4 and blowing the doors off of Minnesota in Game 5. Wembanyama played 32 minutes, had 27 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks as San Antonio routed the Timberwolves 126-97. Wilbon, what did this performance say about Wembanyama, and where does this leave the Timberwolves?
Ooh. Tony, Wembanyama bounced back from something that was tumultuous, even though he started it. He was the instigator. He still, the whole episode, had to have some tumult to it. And Wembanyama came back as calmly as you can come back last night. I mean, he was just fixated. The Timberwolves did all the things they could to get under his skin. Now, I'm disappointed in the Timberwolves because I'm old and I'm old school when it comes to basketball. If they had to go hire Charles Oakley as a consultant to come out of the stands and put Wembanyama on his butt, that's what they should have done. All the yapping and trying to get under his skin wasn't going to work. He really is unflappable in that way. He was great. His teammates seemed to understand. His calm extended to them. Minnesota did not get the performance they needed from Anthony Edwards. I don't know if they can get it in Game 6, but it seems like they were sort of running out of gas, which surprised me. I thought when they tied that game, I thought they could move in and get control. They could not. And so the Spurs looked like the better team, and Minnesota did not respond in the way that I associate when you need to retaliate in kind. That wasn't it.
Yeah. So where does it leave the Timberwolves? It leaves them down 3-2 and going back to Minnesota for Game 6. This is not a dire circumstance. They're 1-1 at home. They can win that game. They won a game in San Antonio. They can win that game. They can win the series. But you can't win a series if you're tied 61-61 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then you get trucked 65-36 over the rest of the way, and you can't win a series. And you alluded to this, if Anthony Edwards only gets 13 shots and 20 points. You can't win that way. Look, you know that I think San Antonio is better, and you know that I've told you on the show for the last 2 months I think that they are going to win the championship. That's what I believe. Wembanyama, he changes everything when he's out there. He affects and impacts the game on the defensive end and on the offensive end. I mean, let's be fair here. In 32 minutes, 27 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks. That's a waterfall. It's Mike, insane. I'll be brief. San Antonio has lost twice in this series. Once when they had a wide-open 3 at the buzzer to win, and once when Wembanyama was ejected. They could have won this series by now. They could have. Yeah. And, Tony, they may finish it off in Minnesota. They may. But let's see if Anthony Edwards is going to be the star that a lot of us think he is approaching. I mean, the star, capital S. Tomorrow night's got to be his night at home. Got to be. Let's turn to the 76ers, dumping my man Daryl Morey as their president of basketball ops. Philly reached the postseason 5 times in Morey's 6 seasons. This year's postseason was a mixed bag after coming back from a 3-1 deficit to eliminate the Celtics in the first round, an upset. The Sixers got swept by the Knicks. Sixers owner Josh Harris has decided to keep Coach Nick Nurse. Tony, is Morey's firing justified? I think it is justified, yes, and I know he is your friend. He's there for 6 years, and he never got to the conference championship on a very high-profile team. He had the MVP in the league, didn't get to the conference championship, and during that span, Mike, as you know, the other MVPs, Jokic and Antetokounmpo and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they all won rings. Okay, they all won rings. Now, he drafted Maxey, who's really good, drafted Edgecombe, going to be really good. But he tied the Sixers to an impossible contract with Paul George and Joel Embiid. In the next 2 years, they're going to make $230 million between them. And that is Daryl Morey's legacy at the moment, because Paul George is way past his prime and never had a championship to begin with. And Embiid's really good. He's really good when he plays. But our vision of him is essentially laying on the ground, holding his legs. So I would say this. I would say this firing is not overdue. It's not overdue, but it's due. It was justifiable. And you can't fire Nick Nurse after the way he coached in the Boston series. You can't.
You don't fire Nick Nurse.
You can't.
Look, I mean, this is tough for me with Daryl Morey, who is a personal friend, a long time.
Right, I know.
And I could see this coming because this is Philly. This is a tough market. It's a demanding market. And that franchise has expectations, maybe outsized sometimes, but the person who's in charge of the operation is going to get the blame when they don't ever get out of the second round. That's just going to happen.
That's right.
The contract with Embiid and Paul George, both of whom I like and root for, it's going to be on his watch. He did not originally draft Embiid, who missed the first 2 seasons of his career. Daryl Morey did not do that. And he did draft those spectacular 2 guards who now have to be the strength and the foundation of the Sixers going forward. And I don't know what you do with that roster. Whoever comes in to replace Daryl, other opportunities will be out there immediately for Daryl Morey. But I get it. If Daryl was sitting right here and I have reached out to him to communicate, I don't think he would disagree. I don't think he would be bitter or blaming anybody or saying, I'm going to get back at the bosses. That's not who he is. He understands this business thoroughly. But the Sixers, these problems are going beyond Daryl. They are. The person who walks in there ain't going to wave some wand and get Embiid out there for 70 games. That's not going to happen.
Let's move to golf and tomorrow's start of the PGA Championship at Aronimink outside Philadelphia. The PGA often has the best field in golf, though it is clearly the least acclaimed of the 4 majors. Scottie Scheffler won it last year at Quail Hollow. He will be at Aronimink. This year's only major winner, Rory McIlroy, who won the Masters. He'll be in the field, but he's got a sore toe. Wilbon, who's winning would make for the best story?
I don't believe in that whole thing. I don't believe in that concept and that dynamic. They're great stories all the time. You and I used to get paid to find just those great stories when they weren't obvious. The obvious stories are Scottie and Rory. I don't care. I don't care about them or to root for them above others. The other people I may root for. I mean, the live guys, if one of them wins, that's going to be a big story. It may not be the story as many people like, but it would be a big story. So I don't, there's, to me, Tony, there are 20 guys out there who can win the PGA. And often it's the most unknown of the winners of the 4 tournament majors that season who win the PGA. I don't need to latch on to somebody who has alleged stardom, who's got a Q rating and recognizable for it to be a good story. This is a great golf course. It's a great field. You got everybody in it. Have at it.
I'll just mention a couple of people. If Rory wins, that gives him 7 majors. That is rare air. Also gives him a chance for the actual Grand Slam because he'd have won the first 2 majors. Between Scheffler and Rory, they've won 4 of the last 5 majors. They have been great players. I like what you like. I like when a guy like J.J. Spawn, who nobody's ever heard of, comes out of nowhere, putts like a maniac, and wins the U.S. Open. But I'm going to ask you this. Did you look at the tee sheet for tomorrow morning? There's a group going off at 6:45 in the morning, Mike. Sunrise is at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:45 in the morning. And 2 of the people in it are people that we know. Ben Griffin, who has won 3 times on the PGA Tour. You don't expect him at 6:45. The brother of your Northwestern boy, Matty Fitz, Alex. He's out there at 6:45 in the morning. Do you know when you have to get up to get on a golf course at 6:45 in the morning? As a pro in a major? Are you kidding me? Like you need 2 hours of warm-up. Mike, they got to get up at 3 to 3:30.
It's too early.
I'm not even awake at 3 to 3:30.
You are.
Let's take a break.
The only person teeing up at 6:45 is you.
Let's get back into the NBA playoffs with our great friend, the first ever guest ever on PTI. Inside the NBA's Charles Barkley, repping his alma mater with an Auburn shirt. Let's start with this, because this is the question on everybody's lips, the most important hot stove question there is. If you were LeBron, what would you do now?
I'd go back to Cleveland and finish my career there. It's time for them to start the clock on the Luka Doncic era. They're not going to win the championship in LA next year because he's going to be older. so that they won't be competitive. I would love to see him go back to Cleveland because, to be honest with you, they'd probably be the favorite without making any changes. They'd probably be the favorite in the Eastern Conference next year. So I would love to see him finish his career in Cleveland. That's just my opinion.
All right, if we go from all time to right now time, that involves Victor Wembanyama. Charles, he obviously goes from the elbow one night to the next time we see him, complete calm and composure. As you're watching him last night, you're thinking what?
I was impressed how it's like that incident never happened. I was glad because I thought it was much to do about nothing. I'm glad he did not get suspended. I think if that foul had happened in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, he might have got suspended. If you had suspended him for that one, you really would be suspending him for 2 games. So I'm glad the NBA did not suspend him. He was very impressive. That team was impressive. I think Minnesota's running out of gas. I think Anthony is playing on one leg. Last night was the first time I saw him not have a lot of juice. But I tell you what, when they play Oklahoma City, man, that is going to be all hands on deck, knock down, drag out, and I cannot wait to see all the smoke. I'm not going to lie.
Well, before we get to that, in the East anyway, tonight, Cavs and Pistons in a huge game in that series. Charles, James Harden has been able to raise his level some and have a couple of really good games, but is still inconsistent. Do you expect to see anything different from him the rest of the series?
I thought this was a great situation for James because James don't have to score 25 points a night. James can help his team win by getting 12 assists. And last game to me was the way they have to play. Donovan is the best player. He's the guy who's got to get 30 a night. If James give me 15 points, on some nights 20, even now and then to explode. But if he give me 12 assists a night, that's going to help Mobley. That's going to help Jared Allen. So I think that's the best way for them to be effective. I still got Cleveland coming out of the East. I haven't given up yet.
You and Tony are the only two.
Yeah, me too. Me too. No, me too. I believe in that as well as Charles does. Let me go to the other team in the East, the team that's already in the next round, the Knicks. The Knicks have looked great. They swept the 76ers. Have they won you over yet?
They've been great. I think those were 2 perfect matchups. The Hawks got a bright future, but we don't live in the future. We live in the present. So that was a great matchup. My Sixers in trouble for many years to come, Tony. It's really sad. Embiid can't get healthy. Man, it's a really awkward situation. I was sorry to hear Mike Boyd got fired, Daryl Morey. I hate when anybody get fired because, they have a family. That always sucks. But my Sixers are in really dire straits for the next foreseeable future. But it was a perfect matchup with the Hawks. It was a perfect matchup with the Sixers. But whoever they play next round is going to be like a really tough series. But they're playing fantastic. Big Cat is playing great. Brunson is doing what Brunson does. They got to get OG healthy. But the Knicks, other than OKC, they've been the most impressive team in the playoffs so far.
We will get you out of here on this, and we will focus to the future and not the present. And it's about the draft coming up. Which players in the upcoming draft, 1 or 2 or 3 guys, do you see as sure things?
Well, AJ is definitely, I think he's a sure thing. The guy who I'm most impressed with is Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. He's the only, AJ Dubinska is the only player I would take before Caleb Wilson. I mean, I think he's fantastic. Got hurt, unfortunately, but I think Caleb Wilson has the most upside in this draft. And the third guy, Peterson has all the tools, but he has all the questions also. And you got to, hey, listen, those are fair questions. Some of the stuff that he did this year with the injuries, the cramps, taking himself out of games, those are very legitimate questions. But AJ and Caleb Wilson those would be my number 1 and 1A.
Okay. It's such a pleasure to have you
It is.
on
It
this
is,
show.
Chuck.
You have no idea.
Great to
Thank
have
you,
you.
Charles.
We're thrilled.
Thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate
man,
it.
I tell you all the time, y'all got the best show on ESPN. Anytime y'all need me, let me know.
Absolutely. And say hello to those grandchildren for us. You can catch more Charles and Kenny and Ernie and Shaq on